Let's have a go at completing some exam questions based on the structure of cells, animal, plant and bacterial cells. Let's have a look at question 1. It tells us cells are the building blocks of life, and the question asks that we only draw one line from each type of organism to the diagram of one of its cells. So please have a go at the question, ensuring that you only draw one line from each organism to one of its cells. Press pause and have a go. Okay, so let's have a look at how we can process this question. I think initially the most obvious match is the animal cell, because we can clearly see the structures of the cell membrane, the nucleus and the cytoplasm. The second and the fourth diagram, they have some similarities. They're both rectangular in shape. However, only the second picture or diagram can be a plant cell, because we have the presence of a cell wall and we have the permanent vacuole. We have the nucleus. Now this is important because in the fourth diagram there isn't a nucleus and there isn't a cell wall. So that helps us determine that the second diagram shows the cells of a plant. Now we're left with the first diagram and the last diagram still to decide which one is the bacterial cell. Correct answer is the first one. Now, what's different here with the bacterial cell, these structures here? The reason why this cell is a bacterial cell is because there isn't a nucleus, but there is a loop of DNA. Okay, and there is a cell wall. These structures here are called flagellum or flagella, and they are used by bacteria for movement. However, not all bacteria have flagella. Okay. Moving on to question B. Cells contain structures. These structures have different functions. Draw one line. Again, we've got the rule of one line. Please just draw one line from each function to the correct structure. Press pause and then press play to go through the answers. Okay, so looking at this question here, contains genetic information. That's a nice link there to the nucleus. Controls what enters and leaves cells. That goes quite well with a cell membrane. And just to add in here, the substances that may enter a cell, for example, could be oxygen, and what leaves a cell, for example, could be carbon dioxide, as reactants and products for photosynthesis, for respiration, sorry, not photosynthesis. For photosynthesis, the reactants and products would be the other way around. Where does photosynthesis happen? In the chloroplast. Why? Because the chloroplasts contain a substance, a green pigment called chlorophyll. Mark your work and see how you did. And then when you're ready, have a go at the next question. This question has quite a bit of challenges. There's not much for us to go on apart from memory recall here. Cells are the basic units of all forms of life. We have similar information in the previous question. Describe 4 differences between bacterial cells and plant cells. Quite a bit of challenge here. Press pause, have your best go, and press play when you're ready to go through the answers. Okay, so when looking to answer this question, for me, I feel that the most coherent answer, which builds on work that we've done in terms of understanding the differences and similarities in structures, are as follows. First and foremost, Bacterial cells do not have a nucleus. Plant cells do. Second of all, bacterial cells do not have chloroplasts. Plant cells do. Thirdly, bacterial cells have plasmids. Plant cells do not. And lastly, bacterial cells do not have mitochondria. Plant cells do. So have a look at how you did and give yourselves a mark out of 4. I'm also going to share with you, just briefly, the actual mark scheme for this question, which has a lot of further possible ideas. So I'll just give you a moment to have a look at those to see if you have scored marks against this criteria here. Okay, so hope that helps. Let's have a look at the next question. Again, we see some commonality here, drawing one line from each structure to the type of cell. Press pause, have a go. Press play to go through the answers. Okay, and quite simply, straightforward. There's a bit of a challenge here because we can only draw one line, so we really need to do a bit of a process of elimination here. Let's start off with plasmid. Plasmid is definitely prokaryotic cells and no other. Permanent vacuole is definitely plant cells. And when we look at nucleus, the nucleus could be relevant to plant cells or eukaryotic cells. So we're going to have to decide which way around we're going to play this. We would have to, because we need to draw one line from each of these, permanent vacuole can only be associated with plant cells, which leaves the nucleus to be the only answer for eukaryotic cells. The next question, we have a diagram labelled A, B and C showing a plant cell. What are the names of the structures A, B and C? We're required to only tick one box. Press pause, have a go, press play to see how you did. Okay, so let's have a look at these structures. Now, if we're looking at structure A, we know that structure A is a permanent vacuole. So we are looking at the last two columns here. Structure B, well, B is definitely a ribosome, but in some instances we need to just double check structure C first. If we look at structure C is clearly the outer layer of the cell, which is the cell wall, which means that would leave structure B to be the ribosome. The correct answer is the last column.